one of the big things you want to move to as well when you get your one-to-one device is going to be Google Classroom. And Google Classroom, for a lot of reasons, is excellent, right? The main purpose of Google Classroom being that you hand out work, collect work, grade work, and give work back all online, right? That's the true purpose of Google Classroom. But there's some neat things that, as an educator, you want to be aware of. Again, some things that are going to save you guys time and energy. So if I head to my Google Classroom, right, one of the things that I want to show you right, is the stream. How many of you have experience with Google Classroom? Has anybody used it before? Oh, fantastic, good, this will make this so much easier. So in Google Classroom, right, again, it's not the tech, it's how you use it. The stream can be a really frustrating place sometimes. If you did not know, right, the stream is where kids can chat to each other, basically, if you don't turn it off. Now, I'm hoping you all know how to turn it off, but if not, if you come up here to that gear I just clicked on, and you'll see here in the general area, it says Classwork Stream. Students can post and comment, students can only post, only teacher can post and comment, right? As I said in my classroom, the first thing I do is make sure that I'm the only one that can post, because again, otherwise it turns into a crazy chat room real quick. However, this can be useful. I use this really, a great way, is as office hours. What I'll do sometimes, especially when I used to teach high school, right? I was at a high school where sports really seemed like the priority, right? As long as my kids were doing well on the field, like that seemed to be what mattered. So none of my kids would stay for extra help because they were all involved in sports. So what I said is, look guys, I'm gonna turn on students can comment, right? Students can post in the classroom every Tuesday and Thursday from like 6 to 8. If you need anything from me, I'll be in there. And so I would start to see kids would ask for help, kids would have questions, kids might just come to hang out, but actually using this like a chat room, right, because it acts a lot like Facebook, right, was really useful. And it was a way that I could help give an extra opportunity for kids, right, to come, see me, meet with me, talk to me without actually having to be in person. Right, similar, I love to turn on the student can post and comment when we're watching movies. Right, because students, right, by nature, they just want to talk about the movie. So I found if I use this as a chat room during a movie, I can control and direct the conversation, right, to be about the movie as a whole class rather than just side conversations that maybe distract, right? So thinking about classroom again, handing in work, grading work, giving it back is what it's really for, but you can be pretty clever about it, using it for office hours, using it during movies, right, or just two fun ways. Are you guys familiar with Guardian summaries? Oh, perfect. So, as educators, right, we kind of want to talk to parents as little as humanly possible, right? And so one of the great things about Google Classroom is it has something called Guardian Email Summaries. And what that means is every time you as an educator post an assignment, post a grade, post something in the stream, it actually will be emailed home to parents if you set it up correctly. So if I come over to the People tab, you'll see on the right-hand side, some of these have emails, right? You'll see them load, right? You'll see different emails. What's great about this is this will email home the parent, right? All that stuff I just mentioned. So I'll show you an example. A parent can sign up to receive Google Guardian email summaries every day or on Fridays. And what they get home, right, is something that looks like this. It'll say Google Classroom weekly summary, summary for Felix. It says work that they have missed, work that have been graded and what they got on that assignment, upcoming assignments, and then any announcements from the teacher. I love Guardian summaries. I make sure that all of my kids have their parents' emails attached to it, because that's a way for me to have constant communication home without having to have constant communication home. A parent can get an email every day of grades, assignments, and missing assignments if they choose to, that I don't have to generate, right? Or they could just get it on Friday if that's what they prefer. And so this is something we do in my school as an entire district. We load in all the parent emails. You only ever have to do it once. It follows the kid throughout the system. But anything that goes into classroom, right, will get emailed home without you having to send that email. And for me, that's always been something that I really enjoy. Yes?
Where do I go to set up the guardian email?
So once you load your kids, if you see here on the top right, it'll say, on the 3 dots, it'll say invite guardians. That's where you would enter that parent email, right?
I don't think we have that.
So I know for my school, we have Power School. I know that my old school, we had Genesis. And what we would do is we would just pull that email list out of our student information system and into Classroom. If that doesn't work, a really simple thing to do is to make a Google form that you either give to the students or somehow get home to the parents and ask them for their email. And that's the way you can get that into the system as well. And then similar, Google Classroom can get overwhelming if you use it as much as you probably should be. And so one thing that I like to do, or I like to point out, is the fact that you can use tags to sort your work. So for instance, I kind of split mine up between grades, which is the top one, and then resources and jobs. And it's really easy. If you create an assignment, what you want to do is it'll say topic, and you can create a topic or reuse an old topic. So a lot of times, like let's say you want to call your first topic Unit 1, and then you have all the Unit 1 assignments or Unit 2 or whatever it may be. It's a great way to sort all of the work. Because again, sometimes your Google Classroom assignment list will get rather long. And once you have it sorted by, once you have it tagged, you can actually drag the whole tag, let's say to the top, right? So if you have finished some of these assignments, you can move it to the bottom, the new stuff can go to the top, or you can sort it at a later date. And that way the kids are always getting the most relevant, important stuff up at the top, and it's clearly labeled, what it is and how it works. So I've always wanted to make sure that I'm using that as well. Something else that's really neat, and I'm not too sure, I was talking to the elementary this morning, and they did not see it. So I'm not sure if it's still in beta, because I get a lot of the cool tools before they come out, or if it's not flipped on in your district. But it's kind of hard to see, but you'll see it's grayed out right here. Google has released or will be releasing in the next couple of weeks their rubric feature, where you can put a rubric into Classroom and reuse the rubric on similar assignments. So if you guys haven't seen it, I know that the documentation is out for it. Again, I don't know if it's been released and you guys just don't have it on, or if I still have the beta Classroom version. But if you want to Google it, you want to check it out, you want to play with it, if you go look up rubrics in Google Classroom, it'll tell you about all how it works. And what's really great is you make one rubric, and then you can reuse that rubric for similar assignments over and over again without having to remake it. And it's a really nice way when you present it to kids for them to be able to see what they got on their rubric. So the rubric feature is really fantastic. And that's either coming soon or coming now. We just got to turn it on here. But that's the big things, right, when we're talking about Classroom. Again, besides handing work out, and collecting it, and grading it, and giving it back, the ability to use the chat, use the stream like a chat room sometimes has been really helpful. Guardian email summaries is like next level helpful. The ability to have rubrics, the ability to turn off the chat. And the last one I'll show you is a quick one. I know for me, it drives me nuts. Anytime basically a kid does anything in Classroom, you get an email notification. And it drives me nuts. So if you don't know how to turn that off, if you click up in the top left here, you go to settings, you'll see the email notification option is there. I turn them all off, but if I would slide that back over, you would see that you have a whole bunch of options about when you receive notifications, right? I just prefer to have them off. But you guys can go back and figure out when you want to get that email based on what students are doing. Yeah.